So whatever you guys want to hear, I'm gonna have timestamps for my reactions for the DLC and talking about the gameplay preview, and then I'm gonna wrap up the entire video for a new request. She's not in the game. She wasn't seen or anything like that. This is part of my series where I make a moveset for each and every one of you, and you guys can send your requests in. And today's request is Reggie Rocket and all about rocket power. But before I get into the request, which will be the last part of the video, I wanted to share my extended thoughts and reactions as far as the DLC leaks, if they're true. I'm not going to sit up here and say they gotta be spot on. I want it to be real because of certain characters, but the one thing I don't like is the double Fire Nation reps. I don't think we need 3 Fire Nation reps in the game, and being honest, I think it makes me think of all the Fire Emblem characters that got added into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Every character reveal was a Fire Emblem character. New character reveal, Fire Emblem character. And it became predictable, and I think that's what kind of hurt the roster for Ultimate with more choices and maybe some other additional characters that could have made it into that roster per the fan request, and maybe other games out there in different series to expand the roster on. So it makes me think of this situation with the 2 Fire Nation reps or 2 Avatar reps. We already have Azula. They could have added somebody from the Water Tribe like Katara and Sokka and things like that. And with the TMNT rep, I thought that would probably be a duo, you know, Rocksteady, seeing that pop up, things like that. I thought Bebop would be with them, and it seems so different without Bebop. Because when you think of Rocksteady, you think of Bebop and Rocksteady being together as a duo. I think I would have liked to see that the most. But Rocksteady's still a cool pick. And then with Mr. Krabs, if this is true, I want him to be the most realistic character being real, because it will allow the developers to open up all the doors for all these other characters that's in the background, like Odie that we saw in Garfield's new stage, for example, and many other characters that can get out. And even some of the character changes that was made to the roster, from character cuts or whatever changes they made, if Leonardo, Mikey, and all the other characters that are missing end up being in the story, and Hugh Neutron as well, can probably still be most likely a playable character in the near future for future updates. They don't need to be in the packs, but they can get added as future updates with a similar treatment in regards to how they did Garfield and Shredder to this roster. So they could do those kind of updates for Leonardo, Mikey, and all those other characters that's missing, and seeing how Helga is in the background. She could be a playable character, considering if, and that's if Mr. Krabs is real. That's the one character that I would want to see the most become a playable character, because that will prove that point, that playable characters in the background, or characters in the background, are not deconfirmed and they can still be playable. So we're just gonna have to see what happens. But just to wrap up my little thoughts about the DLC, I'm still gonna buy the DLC for whatever it is, even if it was only 2 characters in it, because that's how excited I am to play the game. And I've been playing this first game for the longest, since the very beginning, and I'm excited to experience what they have next for this new game, regardless of who the characters they pick. And I would hope for the next season, if this pass is real and this DLC is real, just to close out, I hope we get all new reps from shows that have not been represented, like Rocket Power, for example, that I'm talking about later on in just a little bit. Rocket Power, Tough Puppy, see what I'm saying? Underrated shows like Mighty B. It's so many great shows. Chalk Zone. All these amazing shows from the past, even all the way up till now. Big Nate. They can get all these different new reps and these newer shows represented to stack up on the roster, and then these other characters that's missing can eventually come out as updates. So that's all I have to really say as far as the DLC. If it's not real and they come out and throw us a whole curveball, I'm cool with it too. But I think, just again, I would want Mr. Krabs to be the most real realistic character from this past if this seems to be true and spot on and accurate. I want him to be playable because it opens the door for other characters to get a chance to shine and be able to be playable, even if it's a free update or if they're behind a paywall. But I feel like I would be sitting up here lying saying that I wouldn't pay for a Cat Dog DLC. Why? Because that character is going to play so much more different, and you see how all these other characters that we've seen from these spotlights and even from today's gameplay preview, you see how different they play, and every move is just so different, and the move set for these particular characters or these fighters have been changed, so nothing is really the same. It's a completely different game. So even if these characters come out as DLC or a future update, I'm still going to play as those set characters because they're going to be so different. Even though it's a familiar face, they're going to have a different play style. So that's how I feel about the DLC. I just wanted to react to that just for the beginning of the video. So just like I'm saying, if you want to close out the video, you can close it. If you want to, you don't have to listen and watch the whole video if you don't want to. So I have a lot that I put together for Reggie Rocket's moveset. That's also going to be in the description with these timestamps if you want to read through what I came up for this request, for this character request for DLC. So before I get into the deal, the request, I'm going to talk a little bit just real quickly about the gameplay preview. We got to see Rocco's super, a little bit of a taste of Donatello's super, but unfortunately they did not hit successfully from the turtle van, so it seems like he has that. And I like the gameplay mechanics. We got to look at Jenny, Danny Phantom, Ren and Stimpy, things like that, and all the different characters. And you can also check out the first gameplay full match preview. I'm going to drop that in the description for you guys as well if you want to watch the full match, SpongeBob taking on Donatello one-on-one. It's only 3 minutes, and you could also see a snippet of that same gameplay in the gameplay preview, so that'll also be listed for you guys if you guys want to play catch up if you haven't seen it already. You also could get to see LT Gray and many other characters that they swap between and more. So I really like Rocco's super, which is pretty cool. You're fired. It's pretty cool. It's just awesome to see it just put together. But the gameplay is smooth. I like the little slide mechanics and things like that. But those are just some of the things that you'll be able to see in the gameplay preview. So you guys can check it out if you want to. So even the castle stage from the Loud house, you can see Lincoln Loud peeking his head out from the window, so you can really get a clear look and seeing the changes and things like that. But he still has a chance. It's not over yet with some of these characters, and even some that's missing, still missing, we might end up being able to see them sometime down the road in that campaign somewhere, or maybe in a future update. But the gameplay, I really like the mechanics and the changes, the costumes, and just how the game plays, and just the graphics, the colors, and more. And the one thing that really stood out to me the most is how the characters react, the voice lines and everything like that. I'm curious to see what they're going to say in the story, as they touched upon how the voice lines are so much more unique in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. So I want to see how that's going to play out for the game. So I'm excited to see how the modes are, things like that, and just to play the campaign. They did not show the mini games in the preview. And then I saw some recognizable items like the boombox that's in this game. Arnold's boombox made it back in the game, and it's a newer item that allowed Plankton to grow in size. So it made me think of the mushroom in Super Smash Bros. Anybody remember that? So when you go and make contact with a mushroom, your character grows bigger. I don't know what exactly Plankton picked up. I don't know what item that was, but it allowed him to grow in super size. So he was like a giant. So it's cool that they have their own little item mechanic to, I think it might be a Jimmy Neutron gadget or something like that. I could be wrong. But Plankton was even more bigger for a couple of seconds during the gameplay. So I really enjoyed it for what it is. I'm excited to find out more about the game and play the Ultimate Edition and see all the other additional costumes that the characters will have and more. But that's all my little quick reactions about the gameplay review, the gameplay preview that you guys could check out and play catch up on. And you guys can also watch that SpongeBob match, SpongeBob versus Donatello one-on-one, for a full match preview. So those are all my reactions for the preview. But now it's time to talk all things Rocket Power for Reggie possibly having a chance to get into Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. But this is just a move request. I would like to see her in the game. We're doing a request for one of you guys out there. And if you have a request, you can post it up in the comments for a character that you would like to see me put together a moveset for, if you want to. But let's start talking about Reggie Rocket. This is one of my favorite shows that I grew up watching, and just way back then, I wish they would do more. I wish they did more with this show, and just you see all the costumes that they have. I could just imagine how just the costumes that they would design for Reggie Rocket if she gets in the future, of how they'll look. And I'm just really hoping that we can get some kind of Rocket Power representation, or just more of these newer reps and these other missing shows that deserve a spotlight. But for Reggie Rocket, if you don't know about her, I'm going to start with the backstory. And Rocket Power is the name of the show. As mentioned, I'm hoping they really consider adding Rocket Power. But let's start getting to know Reggie Rocket. Just for a quick little backstory I like to do for each character, whether or not I know them and recognize the show or watch the show or something like that. I just like doing this. So the backstory is Reggie Rocket is Otto Rocket's older sister by 2 years, and she's not really a competitive player, and she's not really competitive in sports like the others are, especially when it comes to, Otto Rocket always trying to win, hit those stunts and stuff like that, and get everything on camera. She seems to be she's way different in comparison to Otto, Sam, and Twister, or the Squid himself, Sam, which is a little nickname they came up with. And she's the voice of reasoning for the game. So for the game, as far as when they're hanging out and they have problems and things like that, and things that go on, any sort of conflict between the group, she is the voice of reasoning. And when you watch this show, you'll be able to pick that up about her. She has her own goals, she has her own dreams, but she also spends time with the gang, hanging out through most episodes, and every episode is different in the different adventures that they go on. Just like some of these characters that you see, every adventure is different. Certain villains pop up, but there's no sort of crime fighting or nothing like that going on in the show. But when you watch the show, you'll be able to get to know Reggie Rocket and really pick up on her personality, being someone that is the go-to person when it comes to these problems that they have when you go to watch this show. But that's a little bit of her backstory. You guys will be able to find out more if you're interested in checking out the show for Rocket Power. So now let's start talking about the stages that I came up with, and the main setting, or the main place where they hang out at and catch waves when they go surfing and they're skating and things like that, and they're hanging out. The main setting is Ocean Shores. So if they were to implement a stage for Rocket Power, Ocean Shores can be the go-to spot, or the stage that comes out, and that'll be included with her DLC pack. And just a little bit of some ideas that I put together for my little notes. This could be the Shore Shack is another ideal place. It's where they eat at, and it's the family business for Raymundo. And both Raymundo and Tito run the Shore Shack restaurant for this business. So I thought, as a little bit of an idea for the devs, not only Ocean Shores makes it into the game, and this game doesn't really have that many watery stages and stuff like that in comparison to Wild Thornberries. But as an idea, I thought they could add the Shore Shack and place it in the background while the brawl takes place on the beach for Ocean Shores. And you can see other characters like Lars and all the other characters that they meet along the way, even some of the new kids in the block that appear in the show that can appear in the background. It could be hanging out at the Shore Shack. And you can also probably be able to spot Raymundo and Tito as an example. So that'll really be cool to see, and for a stage idea to be included with her DLC. But now it's time for the costumes. I did some digging for her, and I also have the episodes and the references of where I got these from. So I want us to start with the Ice Queen costume. And when you watch the episode Ice Queens, it's the episode where she goes figure skating and she competes in the ice dancing competition. So I thought this will be an ideal it'll be an ideal costume for her. And some other ones that I added the green sunset surf, her green sunset surf outfit, which is where she wears her green and orange tank top and the swimming trunks. So whenever they're surfing, she always rocks that those swimming trunks and this sort of surfing outfit. Could be an ideal costume. And then some additional ones. I selected the Surftown rock performance, and if you look up the song Beach Boys in the Girl episode, this is what she wears. This Surftown, I just put Surftown rock performance when they're performing their own band. It almost made me think of Jimmy Neutron a little bit, when Carl Sheen and Jimmy Neutron did their own little band and stuff like that. They did something of a similar light with the Rocket Power crew. So they called their gang, or their band, Beach Boys and the Girl. And then some other ones, Beach Break reporter, when Reggie became the guest reporter or the special reporter for Reggie's Big Beach Break special episode. So I put the Beach Break reporter up outfit. You can also find that as well from the Beach Break or the Big Beach Break special episode. And then last but not least, her skating attire, where she wears a yellow helmet, a turquoise gloves, when she rides her skateboard and her rollerblades. So those are all the costumes, and if you want to find them yourself, you can look up those episodes as well. And even if it's any kind of episode where she's skating and things like that, you'll be able to see her wearing that kind of that particular costume and more. So those are the costumes. Now it's time for the taunts and animations. I really like something that I really like about the Rocket Power series is the different graphics that pop up when you go and watch it. So Rocket Power has been known to have all these different graphics when it comes to certain events. So when someone falls down during the stunt, I just like this. It could be something that the devs can really do, and you can see it pop up on the screen. I think it'll be funny and really cool to see with these pop-ups. So when they falling down and they fail a stunt, they'll say super beef, and they'll do like an echo. It becomes echoey on the screen, and the graphics just takes over the TV screen. I just like seeing that. It just say super beef. Those are like the wipeouts. So they could do wipeout animation graphics. So when you knock her out, super beef, it could come up on the screen for her to react. And then an iconic quote from the show, they say shoobies. So that could be something that she could probably say during her dialogue for voice lines and things like that. And then a popular phrase throughout the show is their little handshake or their greeting when they say woogity woogity woogity. I thought that would be something that they could do for a taunt for Reggie. I think that'll be really cool. And if it's not a taunt, I came up with something more fitting for Reggie, where Reggie can take a sip of her cold water in the pose as a little bit of a cool taunt. And it's an iconic sort of meme sort of thing where she's drinking her cold water. It's sort of a known meme for Rocket Power, and with Reggie Rocket's facial expression when she's drinking her water everyone uses different types of memes for it. So I think this will be a perfect taunt for her while she's drinking her water. And one thing I wanted to do a little bit special for this taunt, I didn't want to make it any ordinary regular taunt. It's not only going to suit her. See how some of these characters like Danny Phantom, Helga, trying to think of who else has an alternate taunt, Hugh Neutron, Zim, Cat Dog, and many others like Nigel, Lincoln Loud, and Lucy Loud, and the list goes on and on for alternate taunts that they added. I added a little bit of a secret technique where Reggie will be able to secretly recover from any damage as she continues to drink her water. So as the player is holding the button down for the taunt, you're going to be able to recover. So not only you're just teasing your opponent to get in their head, but little do they know, Oh, wait a minute. She's actually recovering and she's getting health back and just nullifying the damage that she received during the battle. She'll be able to nullify it and basically be able to recover while she's drinking. So you don't want to let your player just stand there just drinking all that water. She's gonna be completely refreshed and good as new. But they can do a little bit of a balance so that way it's not too overpowered. But I thought it'd be like a cool little special taunt to gift Reggie Rocket for the gameplay for the battlefield. But that's all I could really come up with as far as the taunts and the animations for her, to try to make it make sense and more fitting and pay tribute to the show from the iconic graphics with Super B, things like that, the wipeouts for the graphics and things like that that they could do for her gameplay. And my favorite part, the move set. And I even went as far as giving her ultimate attack or a super, whatever you want to call it. So let's start talking about her moveset that I came up with and just the names. Hope y'all like the names too. So I wanted to make it more just fitting for her with these moves. So it took a while to try to come up with moves for her and think about what she does in the show and just the sports that she plays in the show. I wanted to make it relative to what I think she can do. So this move for the win, Reggie can strike the enemy with her hockey stick for a short combo. Like she'll smack you around with that hockey stick. And I got this from the I think when they were playing hockey against Lars and his team, with the rival team for his little teams and stuff like that for the hockey with the hockey puck, she made the winning goal and scored on them and beat them 3-2. I think that's what it was on the episode. I'll have to find that again, but that's how I ended up picking this up. It's where she can just swing. She did that. She hit that hockey puck super hard, and she made it. She scored on them to win before the time ran out. And just something else that I wanted to do is give her her own projectile attack, a hockey puck, where when she's neutral, Reggie can launch a hockey puck swinging her hockey stick. So I wanted to give her a little bit more of an additional variation outside of just having her just swing her hockey stick. You know what I mean? So she could be able to toss and be able to smack a hockey puck right towards you with a projectile attack, and it'll come at you really fast. So if she charges up, boom, she'll be able to it'll come at you faster. Mad skating skills, where Reggie can be able to dash forward with her roller skates and then launch into all enemies with an air trick that launches opponents. So just a little bit of a skating move with her roller skates. I want to do something like that. Air time, where Reggie can leap into the air using her skateboard. I was going to put Ollie or something like that. It could be something like that, of that matter. But I think that'll be really cool to see. So when you use the mad skating skills, you could combo your mad skating skills into air time, so you can do a little combo finisher. So two different moves that can match with each other, just like I did with the hockey puck and the, her for the win short combo with the hockey stick. Now for her recovery move, I call it this perfect waves, where Reggie can use the waves of ocean shores to guide her back onto the battlefield. See how they try to look for the perfect waves in the show when they're surfing and things like that? This will be perfect for her recovery for a rocket power character like Reggie Rocket. See what I mean? Now, last but not least, I really wanted to beef up her ultimate attack and not just make it sound so plain and boring. I wanted to give it some different variety of options. And I called her ultimate, or her super, the Reginator. The Reginator, I came up with from the show because that's what her nickname was that they called her from the group, the Reginator. So I thought it can match up with her catchphrase once you activate it, and she would say, the Reginator is back. She would say, they call me the Reginator. And then once you activate the super, she can say that as a little bit of voice line. And Reggie pulls out all the stops and has an increase in speed and can use a variety of sports equipment to travel across the entire map or the entire battlefield, where she can glide in the air for a long period of time. So you have mad air time, infinite air time for a limited amount of time, of course. And then for her sports equipment selection, just to expand upon the originator, when you activate the super, the sports equipment selection, you can change it anytime you want with button prompts. So I thought the devs could do something like that. So when you want to use a certain sports equipment, you just press a certain button and you can switch it anytime you want. So I gave her a bike where she could pedal and quickly dash into all opponents upon contact on the field, and she's still gonna be gliding up in the air, still getting that air time, so she'll be able to jump and just be able to catch you. And each time she even touches you with the bike, you're just gonna take damage, so she'll be able to launch you. And then I also added her roller skates, where Reggie is temporarily invincible. She's also gonna be invincible anyway when she activates the super, where she can skate freely around the stage. And then if the player wants to bring on another sports equipment, I added in her surfboard, where Reggie can create several waves to cover a wide range of the field and instantly charge up for bigger waves to cover the entire battlefield. So you can't escape it. You're not going to be able to escape. So when she's charging it up and she'll be able to create waves, she'll be able to, I'm just going to say it, she'll be able to basically spam these waves across the field, so you won't be able to escape. Think you got away from one or two of them, you got bigger waves on the way, and then the player can also just quickly switch into the bite while you trying to dodge those waves. You're going to get hit with her bite, or when she runs right into you with her skates, when she skates into you and knock you away. So you just won't be able to escape Reggie when she goes full on and unleashes the Reginator. So that's what I wanted to come up with for her super, to make it dangerous and make it where you don't want her to get her super, so she'll be able to handle even if it's a one-on-one battle, she'll be able to have crowd control, so she'll be able to get multiple kills or multiple knockouts with her Reginator ultimate attack. So I think this will be really cool and fitting for her as a full-on moveset. Let me know what you guys think. I had so much fun putting this together, and for one of the community members out there, and I hope you guys enjoy it for what it is. And just like I said earlier, you don't have to watch the full video. I will have timestamps for this if whatever you want to listen to, and the moveset will also be placed in the description with the gameplay preview and more of what I talked about throughout today. But I really hope, just to close out, I hope that they really consider Reggie, Rocket, or anybody from the Rocket Power universe to get added amongst Auto Rocket, Twister, Otto, Reggie, Sam, and Twister. But most likely, if anything, I think they're gonna go with Otto and Reggie.